Okay. All right. So today I want to talk about Caseoh, like who he is, where he came from, and why he's become one of those streamers that people either instantly get or absolutely don't get at all. This isn't a hit piece, and it's not a fan edit either. It's just a real grounded look at why his content works, especially in a space where everyone is trying to outdo each other. So I'm going to dive into real quick who is Queso. So if you somehow haven't seen him yet, Queso is a Twitch and YouTube streamer who blew up mainly through reaction-based content, variety streams, and short-form clips that spread heavily on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And let's go stream this as I play some GTA with GT in the background. He didn't blow up because he was the best gamer, a cracked FPS player, or some like a sage speedrunner. He blew up because of his personality on camera. His streams usually involve reacting to games, to videos, playing casual or horror-style games, talking directly with chat, leading into exaggerated reactions. But the key thing is this: the gameplay is never the main event. He is. It's always about him. Okay, his rise didn't come from trying to be impressive. Viral this real quick. What's interesting? Okay. Okay. So, okay. I was trying to get. Okay. So I was in the game chat. I did not mean to go into the game chat. So what's interesting about Queso's rise is that it didn't come from insane viral moment where he did where he did something like incredible, like something unbelievable. It came from him being consistently watchable. People clipped him because his reactions were big, his frustration felt real, his humor was self-aware, and those clips just stacked over time for the last like almost 3 years now. And he just got popular off of that. And once people saw him and thought, okay, this kid's actually funny, it just kind of snowballed into like this huge thing. And that's how modern streamers grow now, not just from one huge moment, but from 100 small shareable ones. Like that's why clips matter so much these days with short form content as well. And another point I want to talk about is like why he looks too simple. Because all he is it's a guy playing games, and it's like when most people first see Caseoh, their first reaction is like, "That's it? Is this is the guy everyone's watching?" And honestly, that reaction makes sense when you first take a look at it because like there's no crazy production, no insane overlays, no constant yelling for no reason energy. It's just him reacting strongly and talking to chat. But that simplicity is deceptive, to be honest. Because that's what he's actually doing, is removing friction for his viewer. Because you don't need context, prior knowledge, a storyline. You can drop in at any moment and instantly understand what's happening when you like anytime you tune into his streams or watch any of his videos. And one of the biggest reasons Caseoh works is because he doesn't try to be cool. He just tries to be himself. Most streamers subconsciously are trying to show, skill, intelligence, authority, which can work a lot of the time. But Caseoh is not like that. He just lets himself be however he is. He's himself. He's not afraid to look confused. He's not afraid to look dramatic, silly, overwhelmed on stream. He's not afraid to make jokes and be funny, and he doesn't take content as seriously, like not content, but he doesn't take video games as seriously, like his skill. He doesn't take that as seriously as some of these other streamers do. And instead of hurting his image, it actually builds trust, and viewers feel like they're watching like a natural person, you know, not a persona. And I would say that his reactions are exaggerated, but they're not completely fake. You know, this is important because yes, Caseoh, you know, because yes, Caseoh exaggerates his reactions, but exaggerate does not mean fake necessarily, you know? There's a difference between forcing hype and amplifying an actual real emotion, you know? And Caseoh reacts the way people feel internally, just louder. That's why clips of him work so well. They're relatable, just turned up to 11, you know? So, another thing I want to touch on is how self-awareness is what keeps it from being annoying. You know, here's where a lot of people misunderstand him as a streamer and as a content creator. Is if Caseoh wasn't self-aware, his content would be honestly unbearable. But he knows exactly how he's perceived. He knows the jokes people make about him. He knows the memes. He knows the expectations, and he rolls with it. You know, he actually uses it as his content strategy, and that's very important. It's not a weakness. He leans into it. It's not weakness, it's control. When you acknowledge a joke, you own it. And a lot of viewers don't watch his streams to be impressed. They watch to relax, have background noise, feel less alone. And I feel like people laugh without thinking. And I feel like Caseoh fits perfectly into that world as a streamer because he's more of a comfort streamer. You don't watch him expecting insane gameplay. You watch him expecting to relax and to laugh a little bit. So he's the kind of streamer you can put on while eating, put on while gaming, or just put on like while doing nothing, and you don't feel pressure to pay attention every second, and that is incredibly powerful. So. And another part of his appeal is that his chat interaction. He does really good with talking to his chat. He reads messages, he responds naturally. He lets chat influence his moments. He says thank you to a lot of the donations. It creates a loop where viewers feel involved, not ignored. Even if you're just lurking, it feels like you're a part of something. Why some people don't like him, and that's fair. But this is my other section I'm going to touch on. Let's be honest, Caseoh, he's not for everyone, in my opinion. He definitely isn't. He plays a lot of different games, but he also sticks with a niche. And so I feel like the reason why you might not like him is that if you want high level gameplay, like deep analysis or strategy focused streams, then yeah, his content might feel a little bit shallow and that might not be your style. But that doesn't make it bad. It just means it's serving a different type of purpose. Not all content is meant to stimulate your brain, you know? Some content is meant to lower the noise and beat out all the distractions. And I want to touch on another part is that I feel like an underrated part of Caseoh's success is how consistent he is. He doesn't switch, like not just with like how much he makes content, but other stuff, like how he doesn't switch personalities. He doesn't chase every trend. He doesn't reinvent himself constantly. He sticks with himself. And when people click his stream, they know what they're going to get. They're not going to be surprised by how he's going to be on one stream or another. And that predictability builds a lot of loyalty for his audience. And people don't always want surprises. Sometimes they want familiarity. Jeez. Excuse me. And I would say Caseoh is also a great streamer for new streamers. Not because you should copy him, just because he proves something important. You don't need insane skills. You don't need like perfect editing. You don't need a fake personality. You know, like you just need to be comfortable being yourself on camera. That's actually one of the hardest things to do too, and it's something that he does very well. For a second, focus a little bit. Yeah, I feel like this is a very important part, you know, because. And I would say, I mean, and that's not without risks, you know. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's definitely not easy being in his position. It's definitely not. It's not easy being a personality-based content creator for sure. You know, like there's one downside to style because like when it's built around all of you, I feel like burnout can hit harder. I feel like bad days can be obvious, especially if it shows within its content. Not saying that that's what his content's like. I'm just saying that is possible in his situation. and you can't hide behind production. So, and longevity depends on whether you keep showing up without resenting it. And so far, Caseoh seems to handle that balance pretty well, while maintaining good energy, good vibes, and constantly being himself without showing any signs of immediate burnout. So. And I always see this question every video I ever watch about him is he overrated? And people say he's overrated. However, I don't think that is completely true. I think he's accurately rated for what he offers, to be honest, because he's not like normal streamers a lot of the times. So there we go. I think, and he's not trying to be the best gamer, you know, he's not trying to be the smartest streamer. He's trying to be entertaining, relatable, consistent, and he delivers on that consistently. And it definitely shows it. And like overall, like if I had like any final thoughts to say about him is I would say that Caseoh succeeds because he makes streaming feel human again in a space that is increasingly performative. He proves that personality He proves that personality beats polish, honesty beats strategy, comfort beats complexity, and you don't have to love his content necessarily, but it's hard to deny what he's doing works. And you don't need to be like Caseoh. You don't need to like Caseoh, but there's a lesson. But there's a lesson in why so many people do, and that is what I think that you should take from this. And I feel like Caseoh is, I'm going to kind of touch on like more personal, my own personal thoughts about like my personal experience with watching his content. Those are my kind of my final thoughts with like a more of like an objective like perspective on him, sort of like just kind of stating the obvious about him, just stating like but I'm going to state more about what I see in his content and what I personally gain from it. And when I watch his, when I watch his streams, I just honestly see someone, like, when I watch him, I turn him on when I'm, you know, when I'm gaming, when I'm bored, when I want just a chill stream, when I don't want to watch, like, if I don't want to watch anything specific, like, if I don't want to watch GTA gameplay, if I don't want to watch, like, even like this, you know, I'm playing GTA, if I don't want to watch that for whatever reason, or, you know, I don't want to watch someone rage on Marvel Rivals or Fortnite, or watch, you know, some kids on Fortnite or Minecraft. He's like that. He's like my chill streamer I watch. You know, he's that streamer I watch when I want a little bit of downtime, when I want to watch that person that just kind of just doesn't like makes you feel happy, but doesn't make you feel overly excited, and also doesn't make you feel like burnt out. You know what I mean? Or like tired. Like when I watch him, that's how I see him, bro. Like I see him for just him, pretty much. I see him as just like that person you can go to, you can watch when you just kind of want to chill, you know. He's like that chill streamer, and and there's not much to talk about, but something that can't be ignored is the numbers that he pulls. Like the numbers that he pulls is insane. He pulls every stream. He's pulling between 45,000 to about 70,000 viewers every single stream he does. Every single stream I've seen of him, he has been pulling insane numbers. And it's honestly crazy to me because it's been like that for at least the last 2 years, pretty much. You know, maybe like the last year and a half has been a better, like, that's like a better time. That's like a better time section. That's like a better, like, way to compare it. But I just think that's just insane. Like, yeah, I mean, he pulls insane numbers, and he sticks with and he's not very niche, you know. He plays any types of games. But I feel like everyone would say that he's known for his horror games. He's known for those smaller indie horror looking games where, you know, which is also really important too, because he builds credibility for those games. He builds like a reputation that those games also, and I want to point that thing too. I don't think people really pay attention to this, but the games that he plays. You gotta really think about the games that he plays. He plays these small indie developer games that are not very popular. He doesn't play the popular games. Like he can play any game and pull insane viewership, like over 50,000 viewers consistently on almost every game he plays. And it's not just like random games. It's like random horror games, which which some people might argue that are actually less popular than normal indie games. So that's just insane. That just like tells you just how much his reputation has grown over the years, and how people just trust him that much and will actually listen to him play those games and watch him play those small games. And if you notice, streamers used to copy him. They used to try and copy him. Like I would see on TikTok clips of streamers trying to copy Caseoh's style by like playing an indie horror game, which isn't a bad thing. You're just inspired. You're trying to test out methods that work. I completely get that 100%. However, it all started with Caseoh, and he was the one that started that. Before that, there would be no streamers that would be able to pull those numbers unless you already built a brand around another niche or another game or another type of content. But Caseoh built his brand around from those type of games in the first place. He didn't like build his brand with like a more popular niche, then switch to those games. He literally built his brand off of just his reactions, no matter what game he was playing. Like that's how good his personality is, and he has such a likable personality. And kind of relates to what I was saying earlier. Like I completely get why people might not like. There's definitely style, and I would say that his style can get repetitive over a while. This is kind of like more like towards not the negatives, but kind of like constructive criticism a little bit, just in my opinion. And I feel like it's very repetitive. I feel like his style is very repetitive, which works. And it's like, obviously he doesn't, he's not gonna do IRL streaming. A lot of these other streamers kind of branch out a little bit. Like Speed has grown, like Speed, for example, has grown repeatedly because he does both now. He does gaming, he does everything. He does IRL streaming, and it's a lot to handle. But yeah, and so I feel like if Caseoh did a little bit more, like he collaborates with he collaborates sometimes with a lot of famous, with other famous streamers, which is good. But I feel like if he did it more, I feel like everyone would like that too. And I know that depends on a lot. It depends on who's available. It depends on what streamers are available. It depends on what game they play, and I know that too. But I feel like if he did more collaborations, he would grow a lot more just with streamers. So I just want to say that real quick. Another thing too is that I feel like people get the wrong idea when I look at Caseoh and watch his content, because they think that they're just gonna blow up like he did. Like he blew up, man. Like he blew up in the first year. Like that is quick for a streamer. Definitely within the first year of streaming, he blew up. He definitely did. Maybe 2 years, but at least in the first year, he was gaining significant traction that was not possible before. But again, it wasn't sudden. He's talked about this a few times on stream. He was just doing it because he loved it. He wasn't trying to get rich. He was just trying to do it to make a little bit of money, and he did it because he actually loved it. He actually just wanted to stream, and that's what he wanted to do. He didn't want to, he didn't want to have to like. Okay, bro, these guys do not know how to. Oh my god, we're so close too, bro. This heist is so. This is the only hard part of the heist. And like before the viral clips, like before people started like instantly like recognizing him, he was doing a lot of what other streamers do. He was streaming to smaller audiences. He was being consistent without huge numbers, and he was slowly figuring out what parts of his personality landed. And that matters because it shows that it wasn't just luck. And he says that it's luck, however, which luck might luck might be a little bit responsible for how he's grown, which I totally get. However, how much he's gained though, you can't blame that all on luck. You can't. He's gonna say that obviously because he's a humble guy. Caseoh's really humble. However, he's not gonna. However, he's but he wasn't. But he kept himself. Is what I was gonna say. So I lost. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. But let me just focus right here for a second. I lost what I was. I lost what I was saying, but. Okay, and that is the end of the stream. That's the end of the stream because my mom is calling me now, so.